If you're looking at buying a home this year or going into next year, you'll consider the usual things like how much is my budget, how big of a house would I like to buy, what neighborhood do I want to live in, how many bedrooms do I need, and what's the ideal number of bathrooms. But there are also some trends in the real estate market that you need to keep an eye on and how they could affect the real estate market. So in this video, we'll go over 5 things that you need to be aware of as a home buyer this year. And make sure you stick around until the end, because number 5 could be the most important and it could save you money. Buying a home is a big deal with many things to consider, and you might be asking yourself questions like, how close to work do you want to be? Do you want to be within walking distance to the kids' school? Do you need to be close to the hospital or the airport? Do you want a view? And how many bedrooms and bathrooms do you need? And there are other things like market trends that you need to keep in mind too. For example, in my market, the benchmark price of a single family home is down 10% from where it was 2 years ago at the market peak of 2022. But before we get into 5 things that buyers can expect looking to buy a home this year, I'm Tyrell Boake, a realtor in Kelowna, and on this channel, I help you navigate the real estate market and provide you with useful information so you can make informed decisions that make sense for you. Whenever you're ready and you'd like to book a call with me, you can hit the first link in the description to book a 15-minute discovery call at a time that works best for you. And if you're new here, remember to hit the like and subscribe buttons so you don't miss out on future videos. One of the things you need to consider when looking at homes to buy this year is days on the market. This is something that's changed considerably from the peak of the market, and it's taking longer for homes to sell in general. This doesn't mean that there's something wrong with the house most of the time, it just means that either the right buyer hasn't come along to buy it, or it's slightly overpriced for the current market conditions. We have more inventory now than we've had for the better part of a decade, and not every home that's listed for sale is going to sell. Days on market should be a non-factor for you when you're searching for your home, because you don't want to overlook the ideal property for you simply because it's been on the market a little bit longer than others, and you might miss out on a good deal. If you ask me, you should ignore days on market and instead focus on things that are more important like location, size, and price. Speaking of inventory, buyers should expect more choices this year than they've seen in more recent years. Inventory is the highest it's been in a decade, and we are in a buyer's market. But buyers need to be aware that well-priced homes that are in good condition are still going to sell quickly, and you need to avoid having analysis paralysis. Having more choices is good, but you need to make sure that you move quickly when you find the home that you do want to buy. I was working with a buyer recently and we looked at a home that had been on the market for about 90 days. They went back and forth whether it was the right property for them and hesitated a little bit. When they finally decided to put in an offer, we found out that another buyer swooped in and purchased their dream home right out from underneath of them. Don't let this happen to you. With more choices and being in a buyer's market, that means that most of the time you're going to have an opportunity to negotiate as a buyer. But remember, value isn't always just about price. There are things like closing dates, inclusions, and getting the home seller to do repairs that come up in the inspection report that can build value. Value isn't just about money, and it's something that you want to be aware of as you negotiate. Something else that buyers should be aware of this year is as the interest rates come down, more and more buyers are going to enter the market, and this is going to increase competition for the listings. Eventually, more buyers entering the market is going to increase prices. It's the simple law of supply and demand. So don't wait too long to make that purchase, or you're going to be faced with stiffer competition and you may end up paying more for that home. Now, let's say you think prices are going to come down a little bit more, but you plan on staying in your next home for 5 to 10 years. Paying $10,000 to $20,000 more in February and facing less competition and being able to negotiate things like inclusions or repairs into your offer is better than waiting until April or May or June, saving that $10,000 and having more competition and maybe missing out on buying your dream home. In the long run, you're not even going to notice that little bit extra that you paid, and over time, real estate always goes up. Don't miss out on your opportunity to buy your dream home because you think in the short term you're going to be able to save $10,000 to $20,000 or $50,000 even. The last thing buyers should be aware of when they're buying a home this year is that, unfortunately, some sellers are still holding on to 2022 prices, which is too bad. But the good news is, with all the choices that you have out there, you can ignore those overpriced homes because you're sure enough to find good value in a home that suits your needs just as well. Just don't overpay for a home. Make sure you and your agent double check the home that you want to buy against all the comparable sales in the neighborhood and in the area so that you can establish a fair market price for your offer. And remember what I said earlier, value isn't always just about price. If you have more questions about the home buying process, or you'd like a step-by-step guide to how you can buy your next home, head to my website at the link down in the description and you can download my free Informed Home Buyer's Guide. And if you'd like to stay up to date on my local real estate market, check out this playlist right here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.